Long time no video, I know. But I have an update. The old red car's still running good. Still trying to get it into 13s. Haven't quite run it since the track last year. Went a 14.0 at 98 mile an hour. Got some plans for it for this year. Matt and I just took it to Tampa and back. Went pretty good. Went to a car show over there, Quaker Steak and Lube. Still getting over 20 miles to the gallon, 22, 23. Can't complain. This car's still here. Love this thing. Got some plans for this one. Aside from fixing the rust, if anybody has any of this local, want to cut it out for me, let me know. I'll come get it. It's really the only two bad spots on the car. But anyway, the 2200 is still alive and well, and it runs like a diesel, and it just is awesome. But all this has to go back to Matt as far as the header and carburetor and whatnot and everything else. We did some horse trading a while back, so he's getting ready to get busy on that. He's got a pretty cool year coming up with some stuff he's going to do. Check him out, Matt Lundquist's channel. So what have I been doing? Well, I've always wanted to do this project. We always talk about it, the three of us. I want to turbo a stock motor and see what it'll do. People claim, I've seen claims of 200 horse. I don't believe it, but you never know. So I'm building this motor. This is a 1600 single port. It's stock, bone stock. I've done the header, and I'm going to have the old carburetor sticking out the side here. Kind of reminds you of somebody else's kits that's pretty famous over in California or whatever. But only thing with this motor is it has a cast crank, and I've been told that 10 pounds of boost and they like to turn to dust. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I have another option. My friend just got a Berg cutter, and he's put these springs in for me. These are double springs. I'm thinking I'm going to build this motor, because in order for it to be a true stocker, this is stock, but it's got a Chinese flange crank, which, I mean, it runs great. I mean, it runs really good. But this is what probably most people have and probably would want to do. They got a stock 1600 single port, and they want to say, hey, you know, it's been rebuilt. I mean, they're not brand new heads, they're not brand new rebuilt. We just cleaned them up and he put dual springs in them. So yeah, it's not stock, but that's something you got to do anyway, or else it's really not going to run. But so I have this case. This is a dual relief case. Oh, and this is a single relief case. So, you know, I'm leery of putting it in the car here and twisting it up, because, you know, it may pop, and I know it'll pop with that cast crank. So I have a case. This case is in pretty decent shape. It's all standard. It's not too bad. And you know what? It's about the miles, you know, the wear and tear of what somebody might have in their car right now. You know, so I'm just going to go through it. I have a stock crank right there. The only thing we're going to do to this is 8-dowel the flywheel and crank, just because that's what you should do. And I've got a stage 1 Kennedy pressure plate that I'll put in it, which is something you got to do anyway. I mean, you just really can't take a stock motor. You can, but you know, if you got it out, why not just do the things that's been proven that you got to do. 8-dowel it just for That's what you got to do. The cam, yeah, I could do the stock cam, and I probably should, but I have a 100 cam, and it's just a simple upgrade that somebody could probably do with a stock motor. Just put a little small cam in it, and it's a small cam. I've got the carburetor that's going to go on this. It's probably the most hated carburetor by word of mouth, and it might be when I'm done with it, but a lot of people run it, and a lot of people run it on a lot of different cars other than Volkswagens. And I think a lot of problem with the Volkswagens is the distributor they put in. And then they just bolt it on and use it. They never tune it. They never buy any jets. But I've seen people actually use this carburetor for this type of setup, and the guy actually sold kits with this type of carburetor. So what am I talking about? The Progressive. The Weber Progressive carburetor. The most hated carburetor probably in the Volkswagen community. Probably by the people that don't know. I had one of these on a 1915 and it ran great. It ran really good. Got good fuel mileage, you know. But I've had this laying around. I think this was on my brother-in-law's car a long time ago. I pulled it off. It's very clean. He did a good job at cleaning it. Let's see. The only modification you really got to do is vent the float bowl. Well, vent this stack right there, and I'm gonna plug that off right there. If it'll focus. That's the only thing that I see that needs to be done, that I've read and researched all over internet. This intake is pretty cool. Matt got this from a friend of his. This actually came off of a Pinto, a Ford Pinto that was turbocharged, apparently from the factory. Hey, I don't know, but I've done some research on it, and I found where they turbocharged a 4-cylinder with this type of carburetor, no less. It's pretty cool. It's got the, you could run your oil lines in here to heat it up so your carburetor doesn't ice over. That's a lug nut. I'm not sure what that's for. That's something, it is threaded and it does go through, so it's probably some type of sensor went there. It's got 2 spots here for a bracket. So when you mount it on there, like such, and this is just kind of all fixed together. Don't hate me for it. Let's see. Sorry. You can run a bracket down and, you know, get some support. But yeah, this is going to be something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've had this intake lying around. It goes to a fuel injection setup that I'll do one day. But the intake port's lying right up. I've got the cylinder heads. I've got this case. Got that crank. I've got a 100 cam. Or even a C20. I even have a C25 cam. Nothing special. It's just, it's probably just a small upgrade that's in half of the stock motors running around now. So we're not going to do any special porting. No, nothing like that. I'm going to use 1641 German pistons. I have a few of those laying around. I'm going to use the stock crank, like I said. Stock flywheel. It's going to be cool. Got a little bit to do left to do on it. This is the Baja header. This is going to come out and get all this stuff back to Matt when he's ready. So stay tuned. I got some more work to do here. It's going to be neat, and it might run like a dog, and it might blow up, and it might just be a really good running motor that maybe you guys can finally see somebody do, and I want to try it. Everybody's got a stock motor laying around, it seems like. So I've rambled on too much. I can't think of much that's coming up. The major thing that we always do is we go to South Carolina in a day and back, and we watch the drag races, the Volkswagen drag races up there. I think Pat Downs from CB Performance won it last year. If this runs half as good as I think it will, I might take this car this year. Normally I take that car. But as it is, keep going. Like, comment, subscribe, hate it. I don't care. And we'll see you next time.